is.
Okay.
I don't even know what he is. I hear the name is popular. I think he's done a great job of like making himself be mysterious and not even in the conversation. I think
like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it's like just now with the internet. Like think about this. This is fascinating. This is how you know that guy got some influence and control. We know everything about Jeffrey Epstein, everything about Ghislaine Maxwell. I got bikini pictures of Ghislaine Maxwell, right?
Yeah, you do.
Nobody even knows George Soros. They barely know his upbringing. They kind of like, if this guy is actively supporting these district attorneys in these liberal cities and destroying the fabric of these liberal cities and these liberal states, if he's doing that and we got one picture of him, that's different level. And it is possible that a guy like that is at odds with the people that want America to be successful. And he's found a way to profit off of this. And who knows? I don't know why they would even let a guy like that exist. If there is an all-powerful they that's trying to protect America, why would they let him exist? Who the fuck is he? Can you tell me who he is?
Oh, there's no way in the world. Like right now, if you look at, are you familiar with ESG, DEI, and CI?
No, is that a new
I
gay
didn't
thing?
even know what the fuck you just said, to be honest with you. That crazy. It just came out of your mouth.
Lesbian, gay.
Let's talk about tequila. The best kind of tequila sitting out there. I don't know if you guys had it this last Sunday one. We're gonna have it afterwards. So apparently these guys, if you're not, they're mixologists, is what you guys are.
Yeah.
It's this protein drink. Am I saying it correctly?
Yeah.
With Celsius and tequila is what you guys drink every day. I'm so impressed by this, what you were saying.
Yeah.
So go back to this. Okay, so ESG, CEI, and DEI, okay? ESG is about environmental something group that's out there to making sure companies are making the right decisions. So Larry Fink and BlackRock say things like, we're gonna force people to do the right thing. There's a video of him saying this. We have to use force to make companies do the right thing. DEI is called your diversity, equity, and inclusive score. How good of a job you do here, this will be a good score.
We're doing pretty good.
You know, we're doing really good here all around. This will be a great score here, okay?
Yeah.
Except one of you guys, two of you guys has to be gay.
You don't know how we
So that's the
identify.
one part. So we got
we got
one of
some
you guys
gays.
got to
Check
make a
that
decision
off.
here. Okay. So then you have CEI, Corporate Equity Index score. Okay, so what the hell does this mean? So Dylan Mulvaney, okay?
Yeah.
Goes out there and gets the drinks from Bud Light.
Yeah.
Dylan Mulvaney didn't do anything wrong, okay? Dylan Mulvaney just got the Bud Light drinks. He's like, listen, great.
Yeah.
So Dylan does what Dylan does, and he's on Drew Barrymore, and he's doing all this stuff, and he's doing his, stretches and all these weird stretches that we can't do. And anyway, so Bud Light comes in, he's drinking, people on the other side lose their minds. What the hell was this all about?
Yeah.
Why are you doing it? And the VP of marketing for Anheuser-Busch comes out and says, well, look, here's what we have to do. Let's face it, a lot of the beer drinkers are these frat, we just kind of have to find another audience, and we couldn't do with this. What the hell are you talking about? Who drinks Bud Light? You forgot who your audience is. No problem. They did that to get a higher ESG score because Anheuser-Busch is one of only 20 companies in America with a perfect 100 score. So watch what happens. Then the CEO of Anheuser-Busch, former Marine, former CIA officer, okay, is the Anheuser-Busch CEO. Sharp guy, comes out and they do the horse commercial, okay? They're like, no, we're going back to horses, more horses. And then he makes a statement about the fact that we're this, we love America, we'll do all this other stuff. Perfect. Bud Light's numbers are down 28%. 28%. Coors Light is up. Then, when Bud Light is now backtracking about the fact that they lost their customers, which is vets, Americans, just regular beer drinkers who don't even think about politics.
Yeah.
I just want to have a beer, I love America. Then when he made the apology, and the ESG folks took it as apology, they said, nope, Anheuser-Busch officially lost their perfect score. They had a chance to stand up for themselves and really do something about this and defend the transgender community. They did not. We're lowering their score, okay? So now it's like, what the hell do we do? Here's a problem what they did. Rather than understanding who your audience is and making sure your audience is happy with the customer, with the product that you're selling, you try to make ESG happy. So who's behind ESG? Larry Fink, BlackRock, all these guys. But the HRC score, which is the DEI score and the CI score, HRC is a company that gives these scores. HRC, human rights something. If you Google what HRC stands for, I don't know what the C stands for. It's Human Rights Community. Human Rights
Human Rights Campaign.
Human Rights Campaign. Human Rights Campaign goes and gives the scores, and they tell you what you need to do to improve your score of ESG within your company. So guess who gave $100 million to HRC? I want to say in 2012. You can verify this. In 2012, HRC, that dictates what your scores are and comes and scores these people, was given $100 million by this guy named George, last name Soros. Okay? So what, Pat? What's the big deal behind this? So, then we go to a complete different space. You look at Hollywood, what announcement they just made, right? I don't know if you guys saw the announcement they made last week. Hollywood made an announcement, the Academies made an announcement last week. Moving forward, for you to be considered to win an Oscar, you have to have a third of your crew or the main actors or even supporting cast or even people behind the camera be part of the underrepresented community, which the underrepresented community is LGBTQ, I think it's women, it's black, it's disabled, it's all these things that they have, right? Yeah. If you don't have a third be a part of that, guess what? You are not able to get nominated for an Oscar, which means, if we go to Titanic, would have never been nominated and would have never won. If we go to Godfather, it's not going to happen. If we go to all the, Saving Private Ryan, not going to happen. You go to all these great movies that have won Oscars, that'll never happen. So what does this do? A Richard Dreyfuss comes out and says, wait a minute, what are you talking about? The whole concept of being creative was for me to be let loose so I can do what I'm doing. By the way, here's a part that Hollywood has completely lost their minds. Do you know why movies in America went to Hollywood? Do you know the story behind why we make movies in Hollywood in the 20s? Do you know how this happened?
Nobody would hire the Jews. So the Jews went out and made Hollywood.
But where did they escape from? Where did they leave and who dictated the rules? Do you know who dictated the rules of Hollywood and movie making?
Who?
A guy named Thomas Edison from Jersey. They left Jersey because Thomas Edison had all these guidelines of making stuff that you had to do. You had to go through this, you had to go through that. They controlled all of it. You can type in Thomas Edison, 1920, Jersey, Hollywood leaving, you'll see the article. So they go to Hollywood.
Edison, like the light bulb?
Like the Edison. Yes, Edison. Wow.
So
did you
Edison,
find it? Did you find the article, Edison?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, so Edison, the light bulb Edison guy, forces the creatives. Are like, dude, let me alone. Let me just go make what I want to make. Why are you doing this to me? Let's go find this one city called Hollywood. They go to Hollywood. In 1920, 95% of all motion picture movies were made in Hollywood. They gave the double to Jersey and to Edison. They go to Hollywood. They make the movies today. Yep. Wow. Thomas Edison drove the film industry to Hollywood. Wow. They left him. So here's what's crazy. From 95% of motion pictures being built in Hollywood to now 50%, 55%. People are leaving Hollywood to different cities. They're sick of this game that's being played. So people forget, go back and figure out why Hollywood started in the first place.
Because you made it too difficult to make movies here. Now you're doing it again.
Now you're doing it too.
And why? What does George want from this? Is he profit-driven? I don't understand his...
I have my own opinion.
Yes, please. What is your own opinion?
For me, okay, so... There's a lot of different fears people have. There's a fear about overpopulation. Oh, that's one of the biggest fears that we have, was overpopulation. Elon Musk comes out and talks about the underpopulation. We need people.
Declining population.
If you go really look at the founder of Planned Parenthood and see what the hell her vision was and how she was worried about all these kids being made, and if you see her interview with Wallace, just go watch this 26-minute interview with Wallace, and you'll see what she says. When he asked the question, do you believe there's such a thing as a sin? Do you think we're committing sins by preventing these kids? No, I think we're doing the right thing because these kids shouldn't be born in this difficult life and all this other stuff. No problem. Statistically speaking, and then morally speaking, I'll give you statistically first and then we'll go morally. Statistically, China, when you look at their population, a inverted pyramid is when a society is healthy. Meaning a pyramid is where society is healthy, meaning the youngest at the bottom, 0 to 4 in China in 1950, the biggest percentage of the China's population in 1950, you can pull this up as well, was 0 to 4, okay? Then it's 5 to 8 and all this other stuff, right, when you look at their age. So today, China's the complete opposite.
They have tons of old people, not enough young people to support them.
And their cost of Medicare just 20 years ago was $500 billion. Last year was $8 trillion. They don't know what to do with this. They're dealing with this 4-to-1 rule, which is for every one kid, he has to take care of 2 of his parents and 4 of his grandparents. But 1978, 1979, they came up with the one-child policy. China took a hit. They used to do 4, 5, 6 kids.
Yeah.
Per now, it's 1.1 is where they are. So in U.S., do they want to
Oh shit! Is this our democratic free way of combating a rising population?
by getting?
You see what China's, well, this is the shit that I'm talking about. This is, just a second ago, we were talking about how do you plan out 100 years? And who are these figures that are planning out 100 years? In America, we can't say you're just gonna have one kid because we put freedom in the fucking Constitution in the beginning. And I know the powers that be right now are like, what fucking idiots did that 1776? This made my life so difficult. Now I gotta manipulate Americans into doing something that they might not wanna do through the guise of freedom, right? So, holy shit, they see the advantage that China might have by reducing their population. We have to find a way to reduce our population. And now you got women on the streets going, scoop those babies out of your uterus.
By the way, that's one though.
Fuck me.
Planned Parenthood would be one element. You know what the other one is? Here's what the other one is.
Gays.
Okay. You saw Bill Maher talking. Bill Maher, by the way, you saw what Bill Maher talked about? Have you ever seen the statistic by generation? Which generation has the most LGBTQ members? Have you seen this? Can you pull up LGBTQ community by generations, okay?
Yeah.
And then Bill Maher says, listen, at this pace by 2047, we're all gonna be gay, okay? Because that's just kind of, it used to be 0.5%, then 1% of the generation, then it's 2%, then it's 4%, then it's 5%, then now it's like 24% of the generation is LGBT.
So the pushback someone would give for this argument is, those were times when being gay was not accepted.
Yeah.
And now's the time when it's being accepted. So all those people that were in the closet have now come out the closet. That's the pushback that someone would give to that statistic.
And the flip on that would be, there's a major, churches are losing today to the church of LGBTQology, okay? These guys are baptizing people into their community better than anybody else is doing it. I had a guest on the podcast from Gays Against Groomers. This guy was on, he says, I'm gay. Totally gay. Our communities, we're all gay, you know, lesbians and gays is what we are. But here's what we don't like. We don't like putting that into people's thoughts, people's schooling, like books right now. You buy a book, it's called It's Normal or Gay BCs, and it says, here's how boys have sex with boys at 10 years old. Here's how girls will have sex with pictures and images in the book, by the way.
Yeah.
And, you know, some parents are sitting there saying, look, man, there's a few things you got to know. I teach my kids, I raise my kids, it ain't your job, this ain't no village, these are not your kids, these are my kids. So you either have to subscribe to the fact that these are, your kids are America's kids, or your kids are your kids. If you subscribe to the idea that your kids are America's kids, let them groom your kids, no problem, be at it. But if you think these are your kids, then you gotta raise your kids with the values and principles that you got.
Yeah.
You pick and choose. That is a form, that is a philosophy that you gotta make a decision which one you're more comfortable with. A lot of parents are not, this is why people are moving to Florida, and this is why some of the guys are more comfortable being in Florida than in some of these other states. Some states are fighting this. So again, going back to this conversation started with George Soros, then it went to ESG, then it went to DEI, you know, CEI, then HRC, then coming down to the depopulation, all this stuff. Who knows what their motives are, but some are thinking this could be one of them.
And that's George Soros wants to depopulate in America.
George Soros wants an open society because he is a globalist that would like to have an open borders, open society. If you Google Open Society Foundation, that's the foundation that gave HRC $100 million. He started Open Society.
And why would that benefit him and the people that agree with him?
How would that benefit him and the people? I don't think it's about how, but we can go there as well. And by the way, everything I'm saying from here on is purely opinion and speculation.
Feelings, no facts on this show.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. No, but you know, look, would some people who are driven by power, would they rather control 330 million people or 8 billion people?
So, okay, so here's where we go. Most people, regardless if we think they are good or bad, convince themselves that they are being benevolent. Nobody goes, I'm a bad guy.
Totally agree.
Right?
I totally agree.
So where does he see his benevolence?
So 2 nights ago, whatever the night was when the Celtics played Miami Heat and the Celtics beat them, what was that, 2 nights ago?
Yep.
I didn't tune into the game. I watched the George Soros documentary, came 2019, 4 years ago, worth watching. Starts off with painting him as an evil guy, ends with he's a philanthropist, cares about the world, cares about America. Well, here goes to another Chelsea handler story for you. When his mom, when he was a young kid, I think he was 9 years old, and his mom had two, I want to say, Russians or two Germans, I think two Germans raped his mother, and she told him this story, and he is apparently lived out with the story. You know, those kinds of enemies, the loyalty isn't to you, the loyalty isn't to anything. The loyalty is to, that happened to my mom, and my mom sold me these beliefs, and my mom believed in me. I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure my mom's dream becomes a reality, because that is an emotional story that I'm going to tell myself over and over and over again until it becomes a reality, right? Like,
what was his mom's dream?
It's not about what his mom's dream was. His mom, you know, the hatred she had, the pain that the mom and the trauma she went through by being raped by two German soldiers. I think it's German or Russian. You can look it up on which one it is. So in the documentary, they're kind of telling that story. And then he eventually reads a book by a man, I don't know his name, that talks about the concept of open society. If you type in George Soros, open society, you know, the book he read, it'll come up with the story.
The more accepting and open we are with one another,
yes,
the less chance that this will ever happen again.
Yes.
To anybody, not just someone that I care about. Okay.
There it is right there. Karl Popper's 1945 book, The Open Society and Its Enemies.